There is a certain kind of silence that lives inside you. Not the peaceful kind, but the kind that holds things back. It's the silence that appears when something hurts and you instinctively swallow it. When something feels heavy and you tell yourself you'll handle it later. When your chest tightens and you quietly say, "I'm fine." You don't always realize you're doing it. It's just the way your body moves through the world, gently bracing, quietly carrying, rarely reaching. Even when you're surrounded by people, there is a sense that you are on your own with the weight of things. You may look capable from the outside, calm, independent, the one who has it together. But there is a soft ache behind that steadiness. The ache of someone who learned very early that asking for help didn't feel safe. And you don't know exactly why. You just know that something in you hesitates every time you almost reach out. If you learned not to ask for help, you probably became someone who figures things out quietly. You don't like to make a fuss. You don't want to be a burden. You don't want to inconvenience anyone with what you're going through. So you solve things on your own. You Google. You think. You push through. You tell yourself you'll deal with it later. You might even be the person others come to when they need support. You listen well. You show up. You offer calm when others feel overwhelmed. But when it comes to your own pain, your own confusion, your own exhaustion, something in you goes silent. You might feel awkward when someone asks if you're okay. You might instinctively say yes, even when you're not. You might minimize what you're feeling, brushing it off before anyone can really see it. And sometimes, you don't even know how to explain what's wrong. You just know you feel heavy, or lonely, or tired in a way that doesn't have a clear reason. So you keep moving, keep functioning, keep holding yourself together. Not because you don't want support, but because somewhere along the way, you learned not to expect it. When you were young, you probably tried to ask for what you needed. Maybe you cried, maybe you reached out, maybe you hoped someone would notice, but maybe what you received was distance, or distraction, or dismissal, or emotional absence. So slowly, quietly, your system adapted. You learned that it was easier to handle things on your own than to feel disappointed. You learned that relying on others felt risky, that needing too much could push people away. So you became self-sufficient, not because you wanted to, but because it felt safer. You learned to tuck your feelings inside, to be strong, to not need too much. That wasn't a choice, it was survival. What you see as emotional distance was actually deep awareness. You noticed when support wasn't available, and you adjusted. You learned to become your own anchor, your own listener, your own protector. That is not weakness, that is intelligence. You didn't stop asking for help because you were cold. You stopped because you were perceptive. Your system learned how to keep you from getting hurt again. But the truth is, you were never meant to carry everything alone. You are not too much for wanting support. You are not needy for wishing someone would notice. You are not weak for wanting to be held. The part of you that learned to do everything by yourself was brave. But it is not all of who you are. There is a softer part of you that still longs to lean, to be met, to be seen. That part deserves to exist. If this story feels familiar, let it soften you. Not because something is wrong with you, but because something in you was once very alone. You don't have to be alone anymore. You don't have to earn connection. You don't have to prove you deserve support. You are allowed to need. You are allowed to reach. You are allowed to be human. And you are already enough.